Oh. Just take the battery out.
This makes noise.
Hey guys, I'm Anna.
And I'm Brian.
And we are Those Annoying Vegans!
We got a request from you guys to do a response to KALEL'S video, I'm Not Really Vegan. And so that's what we're going to do.
And we are doing another mukbang with some delicious, what are we calling this?
This is like our Southwest bowl.
Fiesta bowl?
Sure. We just got some pinto beans, black beans, corn, and onion with some chili powder on the stove top there. And this is brown rice with a little bit of lime. And then this is a homemade salsa with tomatoes, onions, garlic, cilantro, lime juice, and chipotle pepper.
And of course, an avocado.
Oh, and I think I put some paprika in the beans too.
Oh, yeah.
Let's give it a shot here.
Let's try it. This is amazing.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
No oil, no added sugar.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Jinx.
Just a bunch of whole foods in a bowl. Just eat it. We've been like hitting the gym really hard lately, so we're just slamming the beans, slamming the lentils. Lots of whole plant foods. Shall we begin, my angel?
Yes. Let's begin. KALEL, let's talk.
You just feel like when you're vegan, you have to be 100% perfect vegan. Otherwise, you're not really vegan.
KALEL seems to have this idea that there are like levels of veganism. Like there's perfect vegan, there's just vegan. That's just it. And there's a definition to veganism, and it is a lifestyle which seeks to exclude, insofar as is possible and practicable, all forms of animal exploitation.
This is per the Vegan Society, by the way, founded by Donald Watson in the 1940s.
I'm not saying KALEL is doing this, but I'm saying a lot of people, vegans and non-vegans alike, ignore that part about it being possible and practicable in an attempt to make veganism seem impossible or impractical, which it isn't.
We get this reputation for making veganism look difficult and restrictive. It's as easy or as hard as you want to make it, ultimately.
So yeah, when you're vegan, people really do expect you to be a perfect vegan, and I know that many of you might not exactly know what that entails. So I wrote a list of some of the basic rules of being a perfect vegan.
We'll go through her list one item at a time, but again, there's not a list of rules. There's just avoid animal exploitation insofar as is possible and practicable.
That's it.
That's the one, I guess that's the one rule?
Yeah.
If there's a rule.
It's a definition. Vegan is vegan.
Let's hear her list. We'll go through it.
No eating anything that may contain even trace amounts of meat, dairy, eggs, honey, or gelatin.
That seems reasonable as per the definition of veganism.
Especially if you're living in Western society and you have grocery stores.
Yeah, lots of choices. Yeah.
And when I say trace amount, I mean like meat broth. Like you'd be surprised at restaurants how often they use like chicken stock in basic things like noodles or vegetables. Like it's very, very, very common. You just have to make sure that you ask your server to double, triple check.
We find that asking your server once is plenty.
That's fine. You just say, hey, the vegetable soup, is it made with chicken stock or veggie stock? They might say, well, it's made with beef stock, which also an animal product. So then you go, okay, and then you order something else.
Or you can ask them if they can make it with veggie stock. Most restaurants are happy to accommodate. They might have to go to the back and ask the chef or the cooks.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
You and I go to non-vegan restaurants all the time. Like when friends invite us out and we go and we just veganize stuff that's on the menu.
It's the same thing as when you have allergies.
No wearing anything that may contain even small amounts of leather, wool, silk, fur, animal hair, anything that came from an animal.
Pretty reasonable. If you have access to fabrics like cotton and polyester. We don't use goose down feather fill anymore. You can use like a synthetic fill that actually keeps you warmer than goose feathers and doesn't require you to rip the feathers out of a goose. We have vegan leather shoes, or you can buy not leather shoes. There's a ton of stuff you can wear on your body.
It seems so strange that at this day and age we still have to argue the logic of not wearing another animal's skin or fur.
No using any beauty products with animal ingredients such as beeswax or carmine.
You can buy vegan beauty products.
Cruelty-free.
Cruelty-free.
Companies are starting to add the label
Yeah.
on there more and more.
You don't need to be applying anything to your face or your skin that is made of animals, that's for sure. But yes, vegans do take the extra step of buying cruelty-free products because we also don't need to be applying anything to our bodies that was tested on an animal. A rabbit does not need to go blind in order for me to use shampoo. That's very unnecessary, especially when right there on the shelf next to it is the vegan version.
No using any products. That means hygiene products, cleaning products, anything that you would go to like Target or Walmart and buy in a packaging.
Target and Walmart sell cruelty-free products.
Yeah.
You know where else? TJ Maxx. Full of cruelty-free products.
Mm-hmm. Trader Joe's has cruelty-free soaps, dish soap, hand soap. You can buy the vegan stuff at Target. They even have a whole section of their freezer area that says plant-based protein.
Especially now that Target has taken steps to relabel all of their products because people have been demanding, I want to know if it's GMO free, I want to know if it's organic, I want to know if it's cruelty free or vegan.
None of that can be tested on animals. So basically nothing from the huge companies like Procter & Gamble.
Procter & Gamble is not a cruelty-free company, so.
Nor Johnson & Johnson.
What does Procter & Gamble make that you can't get a cruelty-free version of?
And also you have to make sure that none of those products are sold in mainland China where they require animal testing by law.
I think she meant products from China sold in the United States. They also don't have any animal welfare legislation or animal protection laws.
If it's important to you to buy things that don't contribute to animal suffering, then
it is possible to do so.
Yeah, and it should go without question. Like, oh, okay, well, if this product was tested on animals, then I just won't buy it.
Make sure your car interior has no leather, including the steering wheel.
This is where you're jumping the shark and you're making veganism seem unrealistic on purpose. Your voice is very important in the vegan community because you do have a massive audience, which means you have a massive influence. And people listen to you. Most vegans were not vegan from birth. And most vegans will have non-vegan products in their life when they decide to go vegan, a car being one of them. And asking everyone to sell their car and buy a vegan interior Tesla is unpractical.
So what do? You wear it out, and when you're done with it, you buy a car that is vegan.
Or if buying a vegan car is too expensive for you and it's completely not possible for you to do so, then that fits in the definition of veganism. It's not practical, it's not possible. Foot Soldier brought this up in one of his videos, the fact that, take that vegan couple, Natasha and Luca, they're doing world tours right now. They're buying all sorts of airplane tickets to fly all over the world to do vegan workshops. Now, on those airplanes, there might be leather seats or other animal products or animal foods being sold to people. So you could argue that by buying an airplane ticket, you're contributing a small percentage to animal suffering. But if it's impossible for you to fly from the United States to Europe on a vegan airplane, then that's fine. I mean, it fits the definition.
Veganism is about the best you can do.
And make sure your home goods don't have any leather, wool, animal hair, or feather fill. Pillows, mattresses, sofa, a lot of that stuff tends to be filled with feathers, so watch out for that.
If you have a down pillow, you can go to Target and get vegan pillows. That's not very expensive. It's not the same thing as a car or even a sofa.
Say you have a leather couch and you bought it before you went vegan. Wear it out. When you're done with it, buy a new couch that isn't leather.
No taking any medicine or prescription drugs that required animal testing trials, which is pretty much all of them.
If you're sick or if you need surgery or if you need medical attention at a hospital, that is part of you surviving as a human being. So that's very different than buying a leather sofa. Obviously, vegans are against vivisection and vegans are against animal testing going forward, and we can't change what happened in the past.
No going to the zoo, SeaWorld, circuses, petting zoos, or anything else that involves the captivity, mistreatment of animals.
No one's dragging you to SeaWorld. That is a reasonable choice that you can make.
Well, of course, they keep animals in prisons for the purpose of entertaining human beings. That is cruel. If we took human beings and we had a percentage of human beings that we put in cages and we put them on display and you could pay money to get a ticket to go see them in an environment that was painted to look like their environment but not really their environment,
that would be considered cruel.
No candles with beeswax.
We have candles that don't have beeswax. Plenty of them around.
And a limited selection of wine due to how it's processed.
Oh, it's a Greek tragedy. A limited selection of wine.
We drink wine all the time.
Just buy vegan wine.
Yeah. And it's delicious.
In case you don't know, maybe Kalel doesn't know, although I find it hard to believe that you've been on YouTube for as long as you have and you have as many subscribers as you have, that you've never heard of barnivore.com. You just type in the alcoholic beverage that you're considering buying, and then it'll tell you if it's vegan friendly.
And then it might take some time to discover those that are, but once you do, you've now gotten a list. And you can, it's your go-to list, and you know that those wines that they sell at that store that you go to are vegan.
And you can do the same thing when you're out at a bar. We did that at the Animal Rights Conference. We got up to the bar, we looked at the selection of wines, we pulled out our phones, we used Barnivore, and we found a wine that was vegan, so we ordered that one.
You know, when you first hear about going vegan, it's like, oh, just don't eat anything that comes from an animal and don't wear anything that comes from an animal. And that, when you say it like that, it seems like, okay, that's not too bad. That's like really not too bad.
Yes, that is the bulk of animal exploitation in our society. So, yeah.
I used to put whatever percentage vegan I was in my Twitter bio. And I remember I was like 72% vegan because I wasn't eating any animal products and I wasn't really wearing clothing with leather, but I was still like clutching onto my bags and my shoes for dear life. I didn't want to get rid of them. And so many people were judging me for it, and I just wasn't ready. I don't know, I can't explain it.
You know, I think the reason people get frustrated at that is because we tend to put so much value on ourselves. Like, we think we're so precious. I'm not ready yet. It's like, I'm just not ready yet. If we were to replace animal oppression with any other form of oppression, you know, I'm just not ready to give up my...
And look, if someone says they're 80% vegan, I know what they're trying to say, but the fact remains that vegan is a choice that you make. It's kind of binary. It's like, I've chosen to go vegan. So now, looking at my life, looking at my resources, looking at my situation, looking at what's possible and practicable for me, how can I best align my life to the vegan lifestyle? The people that choose to start going vegan, so they cut out meat and then they cut out eggs, but they still eat cheese, and they're like, I'm 80% vegan. No, because you still willfully buy cheese from the grocery store.
I know some vegans hate when you freaking say that. They think that everybody should go cold turkey vegan overnight, you know, and just ditch everything, wake up the next day, sell all your things, and just really commit to your new persona. But I just don't see it that way.
We're not asking people to sell all their leather goods overnight and buy a new car and buy a new sofa and buy a new mattress and buy a new everything. Like, you're intentionally making this more difficult than it needs to be.
To maybe not feel as guilty about the choices that you're making, that you're obviously feeling conflicted about.
Yeah.
Because you even acknowledge it.
I had leather boots. I had a feather fill comforter. But over time, you start to see what those products really are. Those boots that I had meant that a cow died in order for me to have boots, which is completely unnecessary because now I have a new pair of boots that you got for me that are vegan. So I don't need dead cows to get boots, and I don't need dead geese to get a comforter.
And side note, a lot of people think that leather is a byproduct of the meat industry, but it is not. It is also, cows are raised for leather.
I've always said that going vegan is a journey, and there's different phases where you purge different things as you find information that inspires you.
I fully agree that veganism is a journey in terms of discovery. When you first go vegan, you don't know, you don't have all the information. You know, how much are we still learning about veganism? But not a journey in the sense of, well, you know, I'm still gonna buy this. Take my time.
When you first become vegan, usually you go so strong because you had just watched all these documentaries. You're just feeling so angry and like hype and like it's just like the weirdest cluster of emotion, honestly.
That's amazing that Kalel actually acknowledges the onrush of emotion that goes hand in hand with going vegan. Those first few months, even maybe a year or two later, and you're still learning about the industry and it's the cluster of emotion is a really fitting term for it. My question is like, well, what happened? Doesn't all of that come into play in your current lifestyle when making those choices? Maybe it's time to rewatch Earthlings or Dominion?
So my point is, I'm not a 100% perfect vegan. I'm more probably like a 95 to 98% perfect vegan, and I think that's okay. Now, I'm terrified to have this conversation and to make this video because I feel like my credit as a vegan is going to be taken away from me.
There isn't vegan credit or a vegan card.
It's not like an award or something. It should be the baseline. Like, If you can avoid animal exploitation, do so whenever you can avoid it. That should be the very least that people do. I know that veganism is not the norm and people look at it as extreme, but you know more than anyone else how reasonable and easy it is.
So I know you guys are probably wondering, what are these few things that I just can't, replace? Like, what is keeping me from being 100% vegan? I feel like no matter what I say I'm holding on to, you guys will find a way to be like, that's what it is. You can easily replace it with this. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. Believe me, I know.
So if you know,
that's the thing. When you're presented with new information, then you have the ability to make new choices.
But I'm just not ready. I don't know. For whatever reason, I'm holding on to these things, and similar to how I was with the bags and the shoes, part of me just can't give up this one indulgence, and it's really, really hard for me.
I hear a lot of me.
And I.
Me.
I'm not ready.
I'm not
ready.
For whatever reason,
I can't give up these few you called them indulgences.
Let me tell you what's hard. Is going to a dairy farm and seeing the conditions that those animals live in. I was just there yesterday. That's hard. Seeing dead baby cows on the side of the road, that's hard. It's about perspective.
One of my things is a razor, a specific razor that I really like.
She's talking about the little
strip?
The strip on the razor?
The conditioning strip?
I
use...
Let me check this out.
I use hair conditioner to shave my legs.
You look good. Vegan.
And they're fine.
Razors.
Vegan razors. You have options.
You can go on Google and you can just type in vegan razors and then you pick the one that sounds good.
And look, realistically, I understand the frustration that people feel when they hear something like, razors? Are you kidding me? Razors? I didn't know there was such a thing as vegan and non-vegan razors. But I think we should redirect the frustration to, what? Why do we need animal products in razors? This is incredible. Look at how animal products infiltrate every single piece of our lives. It's not necessary.
My perfume, one makeup item.
Just get a vegan perfume and whatever the makeup item is. I don't know what the vagary here is. But whatever it is, there's a vegan alternative, and you know that.
If you have these items and you know that they're not vegan, finish them off and then buy vegan versions.
Movie theater popcorn.
We have the AMC Movie Pass because we are avid movie watchers.
Fun fact, the popcorn at AMC, vegan.
That's most popcorn. You just have to watch for the topping, and AMC theaters makes non-dairy butter topping.
Yeah, but a lot of theaters do that. All you have to do is ask. A lot of chains use either coconut oil or canola oil, or there's a ton of oils that the popcorn is popped in, and then that yellow powdery topping, that's usually not real butter.
Some key words to look for are also butter flavoring instead of butter topping. Butter flavoring might imply that it is not real butter.
Wait, you can make butter without having to kill baby cows? That's crazy. If you want to Google whatever movie chain you go to and see if they have vegan popcorn, popcorn's totally doable.
And the very, very, very occasional candy bar.
If you mean when you check out at the grocery store, you grab a candy bar with milk in it, then no, that's not vegan.
No, and you're intentionally making a choice that is not vegan. So then you're just not vegan. I would say don't confuse your watchers who you probably inspired to go vegan, and now you're like, oh, JK, just kidding. I cheated. I cheat all the time. And they're like, wow, I actually put in the effort and went full vegan because you inspired me. It's actually a slight on your fan base there.
And to that end, maybe one of your viewers was like, man, I really wish I could have a Snickers bar, but you know what? KALEL'S vegan, and she inspired me to go vegan, and so I'm not going to get that Snickers bar. I really want it. And then they find out that, well, you were eating it the whole time. So, and if you think we're being unreasonable or that we don't know, I'm going to tell you this right off the bat. I love Reese's Cups. I love them. They were my favorite candy bar.
Reese's Pieces were mine.
But I know that a baby cow and a mother cow both died in order for me to have a Reese's Cup. So it's not worth it to me, especially when you can make vegan peanut butter filled chocolate, and we show you how.
And they sell them too.
Yeah, a lot of companies are offering vegan alternatives now because the movement is on the rise and there's more demand for it. So If you want a vegan candy bar, they're out there. Choosing to just say,
Because I just can't resist. Because I don't have any willpower. Because what's one every other week?
You're creating a demand. So you buy a candy bar, then the store fills that empty slot.
And you think about, what if 1,000 people think that way? 100,000, 1,000,000.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, it's just one. That's 1,000,000 candy bars.
So why am I still doing this? Like, can't I bring my own popcorn to the movie? Can't I replace my makeup items? Can't I find a different brand of razor that works just as well?
You're asking us questions that only you know the answer to.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is possible to know these things, but still be disconnected emotionally from them. If you're as big of an animal lover as you say you are, go to that sanctuary that you donated the money to. I don't know. Learn about the animals and their stories. Go to a vigil and bear witness to the animals in the slaughter trucks. There seems to be a gap there somewhere. Because people say that all the time. Oh, yeah, I know where my meat comes from. No, I mean, you think you know, but you don't really know.
You're acknowledging that your actions are not aligned with your values, yet you only listed 4 non-vegan things. You listed 5, but again, the popcorn is already vegan. So 4 things that you just can't change.
We have to look at the impact that those small choices have on us and the people around us, the people we influence. Small choices can turn into big choices when multiplied by 2 million subscribers.
Sometimes I just feel so sick of caring about every tiny thing I do. I'm just so sick of structuring my entire life, checking every label, Googling every uncertainty, asking the server to go in the back and pull out this big binder that has every single ingredient of everything. It just, after a certain point, it just becomes exhausting.
Really though? Really?
I'm tired of caring. Who says that? I'm tired of caring.
It's an appeal to futility, is what it is.
Yeah.
You're saying, look, you can't stop every single instance of animal suffering.
I'm so tired of reading labels. Labels are so easy to read now. The stuff is in bold, contains dairy, is in bold.
We'll say it. It's an allergen. Eggs, wheat, dairy.
And this is all about building your knowledge base. Because once you do learn about those products, and that's in here and it stays there, so now you know when you go to the store what's vegan, what's not. Maybe there's the occasional new product that you want to try, so take a second and skim through the label.
I used to use a different deodorant than I use now, but what that did was I was like, okay, well, I had the old deodorant, but going forward I will not be buying that deodorant anymore, so what are my options now? And so you see what's available. Same with shampoo, same with conditioner, same with hand soap, same with makeup. Thing is, we believe you. We believe that you're an animal lover. We believe that you care about the planet. We believe that you don't want animals to be exploited. In those beliefs, isn't it important to you to make sure that the new things that you buy don't contribute to that? Insofar as is possible and practicable.
And yeah, there are times when I'm checking out at Target and I see a candy bar that I had as a child and I miss it and I just grab it and I eat it. And yeah, it has like a half teaspoon of milk in it.
I miss a lot of things from my childhood. One of those is my innate compassion that I lost along the way somewhere and had to relearn.
Swiss cake rolls, for example. My grandparents used to always get me Swiss cake rolls. They remind me of my grandma and my pap.
You know what else could remind you of your grandma and your pap?
My
photograph.
Again, I miss Reese cups, but I don't buy them. That's why we make vegan versions of the foods that we used to eat. And I'm sure that there's a vegan version of whatever candy bar it is that you like. I'm sure it's out there. May not taste exactly the same, but yes, you do need to get rid of those childish urges.
Actually, side note, I'm more concerned about the palm oil in those candy bars than I am the milk. I think that's causing more destruction.
Okay, well, if you're more worried about the palm oil, then don't buy the candy bar.
Yeah.
What? You can't cite another thing that you think is worse
and then contribute to it. It doesn't make any sense.
Even though I have a really heavy conscience, it's just still somehow there's like this little loophole in my brain that is telling me that it's okay to have these few tiny things.
I think sometimes humans, we do this funny thing where we just think we're powerless. And we're just going with the flow of humankind. Like, these things just happen to me.
I think what you don't understand is why you're still buying candy bars when you know full well that they contribute to animal suffering. I think that's what you're wrestling with.
That's something that only you can explore.
And you know, another really big frustration of mine is shoes. It is so hard to find high quality vegan shoes, guys. I have been looking high and low for 5 years for good vegan shoes, and I have found very few pair. Just happened to me for the 9th time the other day. I had been looking for just a basic black boot for literally ever. Finally found it. I was so excited. It's at all man-made materials. I get it, and the bottom of the boot, like literally, like, you know, like the little like traction pad, like this big, a little thing on the bottom of the boot, is bonded leather. I'm like, why? Why is this so hard? So in situations like that, again, I mean, all of my shoes are vegan besides that one pair of boots. I will say that. But you just reach a point where you're like, you know what? I've had enough. F it. I'm gonna keep the boot.
You're having trouble finding vegan shoes. So we live in Los Angeles. We're not sure where you live, but you don't have to live in Los Angeles to get vegan shoes. Just one particular vendor that we know of. They're called Moo Shoes. You can go to mooshoes.com.
All their stuff is vegan.
Oh, you need a simple black boot? Okay. Well, I own black boots that you bought from Moo Shoes. And if you look at the Moo Shoes website and you sort it by women's boots, oh, the first thing that pops up is a black boot. Karina boot in black from Novacas. Here's some black boots. There's some
really
black
cute.
boots.
They have rain boots.
They got like Doc Marten style. They got desert boots. They got these dress boots.
And you said this happened to you for the 9th time. Who are you ordering from? Maybe it's time to switch up companies. Look for vegan shoe companies.
And on top of that, boots can be returned. And then you're removing the demand for those boots, and then you can put that money towards a vegan boot. So you're increasing demand for the vegan product, reducing demand for the non-vegan product. Now, every time you put on those boots, you know that a cow died to make those boots. Doesn't that make you feel like I wouldn't want to wear those boots?
Yeah.
Also, another thing is making mistakes. Vegans need to be allowed to make mistakes. I was shopping for a fancy gown for a formal wedding, and I had looked all day. I finally found one that I really liked. I checked to see what it was made out of, and there was no tag. I swear on literally Buki's life, there was no tag. I don't even know how that's legal, but there was no tag, and it was the end of the day. I had looked such a long time. I had found nothing, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get this. It feels like polyester blend or something, you know? A week later, I'm already in Morocco. I'm at the wedding. I'm wearing the gown. And I'm reading comments, and somebody had found the dress, the exact same dress, online and showed that it was silk. Everybody called me out, freaked out. You're not a real vegan. You bought a silk dress. It was an honest mistake.
Yes, that was an honest mistake. I might argue that it was born out of laziness. In theory, if you're buying this at a store, doesn't the store know what brand the dress is? And then could you pull out like your phone and Google the brand and see if you could find it online?
Someone
you could
else
ask.
did it for you.
Yeah, I mean, clearly your followers found the dress and they found what it was made of. So it's possible. That is an honest mistake. Intentionally buying a Milky Way candy bar, not an honest mistake.
And who knows if this store even takes returns, but if you maybe go back to it and you're like, listen, I got this dress, it didn't have a tag, and I didn't know it was silk, and I do not support silk, and I want to return it or exchange it for something else. Yeah. Maybe, open up that dialogue.
This is the second time now where you were like, it's been a long day and I'm just tired.
You're basically saying, I don't care what kind of animal exploitation went into this product because I'm so tired. There are plausible mistakes that you can make. Like, say you go to a restaurant and you order the vegan ravioli, and they come out with a ravioli and you start taking a few bites and you're like, waiter, and they check and they're like, we're so sorry, we made a mistake. It's not the vegan ravioli, let me get that for you right away. And you had some already. That's a mistake. It wasn't your fault.
That's different than intentionally continuing to buy perfume and makeup that you know is tested on animals.
Absolutely.
You also really can't associate yourself with any companies that sell anything from an animal. Like, I did a campaign with Daniel Wellington for their little like metal cuff bracelets, and everybody called me out like, oh, you're supporting a company that sells leather. Like, for instance, Ben & Jerry's. Ben & Jerry's has launched like 10 non-dairy flavors. And yes, I promote those products because I'm excited to see that shift in the market. Now, does Ben & Jerry's profit heavily from the abuse of dairy cows? Yes. Does that feel good? No. But I understand the importance of causing that shift in supply and demand, and I can see a future where Ben & Jerry's is nothing but non-dairy ice cream. I fully believe that that will happen. But will it happen if everyone in the vegan movement is boycotting them? No.
Yay!
Hey! There you go.
We really, really agree with you on this one. The vegan movement is about transitioning those big companies, and how else are we going to do that unless we demand and support the vegan version of their products? It's okay to support those little vegan restaurants that pop up. That's fantastic. But also work on the other ones, the ones who are still teetering over on the brink, and they put out a vegan product to try it out and test it out, and no one buys it. What are they going to do? They're going to take it off the menu.
Maybe I'm in the wrong here. Maybe since I'm only 98% vegan, I should have my vegan card taken away. Like, how do you guys feel about this? What do you think? I would love to know, if you are vegan, what percentage of vegan do you honestly think you are?
Well, again, there's no percentage of vegan. You're either vegan or you're not vegan. So I think we would say that if you are intentionally buying makeup and perfume and candy bars that you know cause animals to be harmed, then that's not vegan.
I would really, really appreciate other vegans coming clean about their few things that they might cheat with or whatever. I think this would be really, really good for the movement.
Look, if you cheat on your vegan diet, then you're not vegan.
No.
I do so much, I feel. You know, I'm promoting this lifestyle in a positive way to millions of people. I've done several awareness campaigns with PETA. You know, I just feel like I'm really doing the best that I can. I'm like coming for designers on Twitter. Like, I'm really trying to progress the movement as much as I can, but no, I'm not perfect.
We believe you, but you're still contributing to animal exploitation. It's almost like you're placing the responsibility on those people to change, when really you should place that responsibility on your shoulders. And it sort of takes away from the vegans who are giving it their all. They're consistent.
I just think vegans have made this lifestyle look so restrictive that nobody even wants to take the first step. People are literally terrified to even call themselves vegan because they think they're going to be attacked for not following rule number 16 properly.
We would say that anyone who thinks a vegan lifestyle is too restrictive is thinking of themselves and not thinking of the animals.
Victims.
Those are the victims of the oppression. And whenever we look at oppression, we look at it through the eyes of the victims, not the oppressors. Slavery is always brought up as a comparison to veganism. Why? Because it's perfectly analogous. There were many reasons why people didn't want to give up slavery, but we had to look at it through the eyes of the victims and say, this is wrong, we're going to stop this. Yeah, but that means I can't get X, Y, or Z. Yes, it does. And it doesn't mean that I can, well, this one's okay to be use a little slave labor here, but not here. But see, the thing is, I vocally tell everyone that I'm anti-slavery. So if I have a little bit of slavery, then it's okay because I'm mostly anti-slavery. I'm like 98% anti-slavery.
I mean, I just cheat a little bit all the time.
If somebody wants to be 10% vegan, we should be, all right, let's do it. You're doing such a good job. That's amazing that you're making those changes. If somebody is plant-based and wants to call themselves vegan, who gives a who cares? Why are we on our high horses about these labels?
Yeah, if someone wants to call this wall fuchsia, who gives a okay? It's fuchsia now. Why do we have words for things? We have language for a reason. And that reason is so that we all agree on definitions of terms so that we can communicate effectively.
Yeah.
So if I've decided to call this bowl green, but Anna has decided to call this bowl yellow, then I go, pass me the green bowl. And she doesn't pass me this one. I choose to call it yellow. Well, no, I call it green.
Yeah,
language has a purpose.
Yeah.
So if you walk into a restaurant and you go, oh, is the mac and cheese vegan? And they go, yes. And then you find out that, well, actually it had like 10% cow's milk in it. Like, would you be upset? And they could go, well, look, okay, it's 90% vegan. Like, who cares?
It's all about making better changes for the animals.
It is, but it doesn't do anything for the movement to be hypocritical. Look at it from the vegans' point of view. The vegans who are really doing this consistently, conscientiously making these choices day in and day out. I feel like this is all you trying to make yourself feel better about your choices.
If even 10% of the world somehow magically turned vegan overnight, that would change everything. Literally 10% of the market turning to vegan products would send every company into a frenzy to come up with some kind of vegan product.
We completely agree in that any change is positive change, but also look at it from the perspective of you already care about animals. You are almost there, mostly vegan. That 5 to 10% that's remaining in you is 5 to 10% closer to not contributing to animal exploitation. And if we're looking at a multitude of people, 1 million people who still have 5 to 10% to go, who are already motivated, who know all the information, then that's also a major change.
So my real point of this video is, yes, I want to be fully transparent and admit that I'm not a perfect vegan. But even more important than that, I want to fight the stereotype that you have to follow all of these rules perfectly in order to call yourself a vegan. You really don't, and this is a conversation that we need to become more tolerant of. It needs to be okay. I think people need to not feel guilty for admitting that there are 5 things in their life that they're still holding on to that aren't 100% cruelty-free.
Instead of trying to get other people to join you in this, like, let's redefine veganism, let's have this conversation, why not try to just close that gap, that 5 to 10% gap, and truly live in line with your values and inspire others to do so.
And putting the percentage on it, it irks me. And the reason it irks me is because when you say that there's 5 products in my life, 4 by the way, because the popcorn's already vegan. There are these products in my life that are not 100% cruelty-free. That's code for not cruelty-free. The 100% in there is just shoved in there to make it sound like they're not 100%, but they're almost, no, they're not cruelty-free.
I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. And I hope you don't hate me because I still have a razor and a certain makeup item. And I don't want to promote any of those things. I don't want to say what they are because I don't want to give them any more attention.
But you do want to give them your money so that they keep making those products and you keep buying them. We're being a little bit harder on you.
Yeah.
Because you know.
Anyway, okay, I'm gonna go. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. And please, 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 if you're vegan, it would make my entire life if you would start having these conversations with other vegans. I think this is so important for the movement. We gotta break through this 100% perfect. I know we can do it. It's gonna be great. Okay, bye.
And that's why we had this conversation with you. So those are our thoughts on the Kalel video. If you guys liked this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe.
And make sure you slam that notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time we put out a new video.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, lots of activity going on there right now, especially the more active we become in the community. Check out our Etsy store for some cool vegan swag.
And a huge thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon. You guys are amazing. You support this channel and you help us towards our goal of becoming full-time activists. And if you're new to this channel and you like what we do and you want to support us, the Patreon link is in the description below. Bye. I know this doesn't pertain to Kalel at all, but that phrase really irks me. I know you know this about me.
Yeah.
But we need to have a conversation about that's usually said about things that we've been having a conversation about.
Yeah.
What we do need to open up a conversation on is how animals are treated in factory farms, how male chicks are ground up alive because they're useless to the egg industry, how baby calves are taken away from their mothers on the first day of life and killed for veal. These are the things that we should have conversations about. And I know someone asked us if we're gonna ever make recipes again.
I know, we are.
We will. We actually have like a lentil trilogy planned.
And we're also behind on videos because we've been so much more active. 3 vigils a week now.
Yeah.
And
Cubes of Truth when we can. Oh, also the whole like working to earn money to pay for goods and services.
Yeah, we still have full-time jobs. There's so much we want to do.
And let us know in the comments what you guys want to see from us, you know?
Yeah.
Recipes are definitely coming. If you got any other videos you want us to respond to, let us know that.
Yeah,
let us know your thoughts.